Hey team, it's your nurse educator Amy here, and welcome to part 6 of my Ventilator Basics for Nurses series. In this video, I'm going to be discussing pressure control mode of ventilation. Now, whenever you hear pressure control, I want you to think lung sick. Okay, most likely the primary problem with your patient is their lungs. Now, in pressure control, it's a little bit different from the previous modes of ventilation that we've been discussing. In this mode, rather than having a set tidal volume, we have something called a set pressure control setting. That pressure control setting is just a continuous pressure that's delivered to the patient throughout the breath. Other settings that are in this mode are the FiO2, the PEEP, and the respiratory rate. So those are the same, but it's that pressure control setting that makes it a little unique. Now, because the pressure is set in this mode, that means that the volume is going to vary. So we really need to be watching the tidal volumes on the ventilator. Now, when you're looking at the ventilator in this mode, that PIP that you're going to see in the top corner of your ventilator is not going to change. Remember, your pressure is set. Now, what that number is going to make up is that pressure control setting that's on the ventilator plus the PEEP setting that's on the ventilator. So if you were to look at that upper corner on your ventilator and the PIP said 25, what that number is the pressure control setting. Let's say it was pressure control of 20, and let's say your PEEP was set at 5. Your PIP is 25 because it's the sum of both of those things. And it's not going to change at all because it's set. So what would vary is the volume. And this is an important concept to really keep in mind, especially in this mode of ventilation, because as the patient's lungs get sicker, remember, that means it's going to cause them to not be able to fully expand and deflate. But in this mode, the ventilator is going to deliver that set amount of pressure no matter what. And so if the lungs aren't fully able to expand to receive all that pressure, your tidal volumes are going to go down. And so we really need to be watching that, because if your tidal volumes go down, that means your oxygen levels are going to go down as well. Now let's talk about the benefits of this mode. Now, if we're looking at the ventilator screen, you're going to see that the waveform is a square as opposed to that weird triangle waveform that we saw with the volume control modes. And you're going to see a square because, remember, my pressure is set, so I'm going to have a flat line at the top of the breath because that peak inspiratory pressure doesn't change. Now, why this is really great for patients that are lung sick is because, remember, the area under the wave represents the amount of time that the lungs are open. And because that pressure is set, the lungs are staying open for a longer amount of time, and they're staying open more consistently. So that's a really big benefit for patients that are lung sick, because it's increasing the amount of time that oxygen is able to travel down from the lungs into the blood. So this mode improves oxygenation. We just have to be mindful to watch for those tidal volumes. So be sure to stick around for the next part, the next video in this series, and click that subscribe button so that you don't miss any more of my videos. I'll see you in the next one.